Hello everyone and welcome to episode 5 on my journey to Keystone Master in World of Warcraft Dragonflight. This week I will show you the 3 worst dungeons I have ever run on this character, or any character for that matter, because they're all just rotting away in an inn somewhere, just drinking in all the rested XP they can get for whenever I have time to play another character. But before we get on to the depressing stuff, be sure to subscribe, click the bell so you don't miss any videos, and drop a comment down below telling me how much I suck at the game. Now let's talk about the usual, also depressing stuff, the world tour as I call it. I do the usual hunt where you fly around the area and unalive a bunch of things for the glory of the hunt or whatever. I jump through a time portal to help the bronze Dragonflight deal with the primalists in the future, come back to my current timeline to beat more primalists and monsters down on the Dragonbait Keep. We fly around the world boss location where, as usual, we take it down with minimal trouble, and yet again we just get gold from it. Do these dragons even drop anything? I just do them because they help fill up the requirements for their weekly quest and they pay for repairs with the gold they drop, but damn, a piece of gear would be nice, right? Back in Dragon Town, I hand in my weekly quest and go over to the vault to open all of my treasures. The Grand Hunt spoils give me a few animal bones or something. I don't know how the centaurs deal with the things, but the Primalist cache gives me a few storm essences and sigils, and the Dragonbane treasure gives me a downgrade on a chest item I had a while ago. Great, wasted time. Now on to the vault. The choice here is easy. I choose the 402 Mythic Plus cape that is a massive upgrade to the blue item quality cape I'm using now, and it's way better than the Wraithfinder items on the upper tier. The key I get is an plus 11 Algathar's Academy, so I guess it's time for me to pick up my backpack, pick my starter Pokemon, and head to school.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Ah, school. A place of learning, social interaction, and personal growth. A haven for people to study and learn about history, math, biology, systemic racism, the wonders of friendship and meaningful relationship with your peers, and most importantly, pest control, avian flu prevention, sports, magic, and magical dragons. There's no better place for this in the Dragon Isles than the Algathar's Academy, so strap in for the virtual tour.
The Academy offers aeolic transportation between the areas. That means wind energy for all you new students. You walk into the quad where you take your oath with one of the Dragonflights where you're bestowed a buff while in Academy grounds based on the flight you decide to do community service for, as shown here in the brochure. Afterwards, you walk into the Botanica, where you're greeted by terrifying vine lashers and big angry bugs. Be sure to dodge the green round swirlies and focus on the mean bugs because they get angrier by the minute. After the Botanica has been cleared, be sure to take a stroll with Professor Mysticaria and Professor Ikistras, who will tell you all about the wonderful flora of the Dragon Isles. Oh, student, it seems the flora wants to study you first. Freshman, get ready to deal with it. The importance of paying attention in this fight is the Germinate mechanic, where you want to stack and slightly move around the boss with your group so you can AoE all the seedlings down fast before things go boom boom. After sightseeing the flora, it's time to visit the pitch, where we at Algathar's Academy are proud to teach all Drakthir the wonders of Space Jam. We are currently having a bit of a problem with bird infestation, which has stopped the games altogether, but I'm sure you can handle it. Keep your eyes open for the directional attack and step aside. Use your defensive in response to the savage pack and keep your feet moving all around the court while dodging the falling fireballs. When the hoops are active, be sure to have your team dunk a few points into one of them to stun the boss and give your guys a damage boost and finish blasting the bird into oblivion. We at Algathar's also offer a site to enjoy a good read and improve your arcane knowledge with the teachings of Professor Max Dormu, winner of the Dragon Pulitzer Prize and enjoyer of uncaring conjurations. Some say his lectures feel like they come to life, such as Veximus. This arcane creation is to be tanked facing away from your party so no one gets hit with arcane expulsion. Sometimes Vex, as I like to call it, will target two people with meta bombs. These two students must step away from the group or your walking space will be limited because the pools of arcane energy will stay wherever the bombs detonate. I've read your admittance letter and saw that you're already experienced with balls, so whenever you see them appear around Vex, be sure to soak them before they reach the arcane being. Just try not to overdo it unless you're attacked because the damage will stack.
Mr. Tour Guide, sir, may I interject so I can explain this pool to the viewers?
But of course, new attendee, we at Albithar's Promote Group work to strengthen interpersonal bonds between our students.
Sure. Okay, so the next few packs are easy. You just watch out for the arcane missiles and the astral whirlwind where the Echo Knight starts spinning and winning, so move away from that. What I wanted to highlight was the last pull in the dungeon. In it, I pulled this group with 2 invokers and a knight, so they're easy to deal with. I pulled the group at the entrance and I slowly move into the archway so I can line of sight the casters and AoE them down once they move inside. I end up butt pulling the roaming group, but they're not hard to beat, so I just blast them down and you should finish up whatever percentage was left in the key.
Okay, thank you new attendee for your insightful information. From now on, deject from ever taking my spot and you won't have to personally discover the answer to the problem we call life. The final test is a battle against the Echo of Doragosa, the Exploragosa, our own magical dragon headmaster. Be sure to tank her facing away from the group, move energy bomb to a single place in the room so the detonating energy balls don't fill up the room, and move out when she casts power vacuum, so you don't get to experience the suck and drop firsthand. Continue this up for a while and congratulations, you have graduated from the summer course in Algathar's Academy. Your diploma will arrive in the mail and your 200,000 gold tuition will be charged promptly.
Wait, hold up, 200k?
Goodbye!
Recalling things from the past again, remember when I said this on episode 2? I've heard all the horror stories from Halls of Valor at higher levels, so I'm thankful that even with 8 deaths, we managed to +2 the key and complete the dungeon. Well, it's time for one of those horror stories, so strap in! I set up a group composed of a priest healer, a DK, a warrior, and a rogue. They had decent eye level, some of them more than decent gear, so I felt safe going in. Now this dungeon doesn't go well for a few things that are totally my fault. While I was playing the game, I thought the other players were just these elitist jerks who wanted to 100% everything and whatnot, but this was my first mistake. Changing my talents before the dungeon. I've grown used to the Astral Guardian playstyle, shooting moonfires left and right, healing off of all that damage, and yet for some reason, I dove into a false sense of insecurity by the other player's item level and changed to a rage build which I'm not too familiar with, but it's more DPS in AoE, right? I can do bigger pulls, right? Wrong. The healer's mana was always bottom dry, I was pulling packs too big for my own good, my health was dropping to dangerous level just because I thought, hey, this guy's pump, it'll be all easy. It all stopped with this interaction right here. Your gear. I'm crying. We'll be fine. LOL. That really brought me down a level, and I was so focused on showing them that I could do the rest of this run with no problems that I completely forgot the boss's mechanics. I lost aggro, I make the fight one hell of a mess, then we wipe. Just as quick as they had joined the group, they released and one by one ran out the dungeon portal. No words said, no goodbyes, hell, not even shit talk. They just left, and I stood there at the dungeon entrance wondering what the hell just happened. I've had little troubles with dungeons so far, so what was it? My gear? My gameplay? A mix of it all? Watching back the video, it was a mix of it all, and this was the first key where people just walked out on me. I felt defeated. I logged off and stared at the character select screen wondering if all had been a mistake. If I should have just chosen another class and another spec. But then I saw it. I saw the little raptors that run across the Sandalari character screen, but they weren't running their usual way. They were moonwalking across the screen. I showed my wife, we both had a good laugh, and then it hit me. This is a game. This is a goofy ass game where tiny dinosaurs moonwalk across the background. Why the hell do I feel defeated? Why do I feel bad about myself, about my choices? I'm playing a big ass troll who turns into dinosaurs, for crying out loud. Let's get back into this. As if delivered by fate, I get a 4-man pre-made group of a priest, a rogue, a demon hunter, and a druid. And if you're good at math, that's 4 leather classes. I instantly go all ooh-woo on them and tell them I've never had a 4-man pre-made before. And you know what? They ooh-wooed right back at me with, try being a 4-man pre-made, looking for specifically a HOV and a tank only. That's it, I've hooked them. Time to reel them in. Made for each other. Boy, were we! Look at those pulls side to side with the previous group. I have no idea how much difference a single key level makes, but look at the smoothness of these fights, the elegance of group positioning, the awareness on ground effects, on mechanics. People are interrupting, stunning the mobs that need to be stunned. These guys are great! Let's come back to where it all fell apart before. Oh, see that? Just one death at the second boss. The difference is night and day between the two groups and my mentality overall. I'm pulling smaller groups, paying attention to the ground, paying attention to the mobs we're pulling, and the hallway battles went so smoothly I barely had any troubles with it. The road to Fenrir was effortlessly done with the group just mowing down wolves and hunters left and right, just pumping percentage as much as we could. Then we finally get to the wolves' final resting place and put it down for good with minor challenge. The next boss is God King Scovold. This fight is super easy, just hit him hard, use the shield to not wipe during Ragnarok, and just bring HP speed to 0. Odin though is another story. This dude hits hard. He summons swords out of the ground that start shooting out. Oh lord. More balls that you have to dodge or you'll get damaged and stunned for a good bit. And thanks to that stun I lost aggro and another team member ends up getting huffed. Odin also summons ad that, as usual, need to be dealt with permanently. Also, be on the lookout for Radiant Tempest because it will wipe the group, so either use movement to get out or to get back in after running away. The final mechanic is the runic brand, where everyone in the group will be branded with a rune, as the name implies, and you go step on one of the plates with your rune and you become empowered for the remainder of the battle. A few hits later, Odin is defeated, the Keystone is upgraded +2, and I get some nice pants for it. Before going back into dungeons, I go to Voldraken and enchant my gear as best I can with what I have, and I end up sitting at 389 item level with some enchants on my gear and a newfound confidence after being brought down just a few moments ago. This is just to show you all that you will get bad runs, you will get groups that walk out on you, but it doesn't matter. It's just a key and there are more people out there to play with. Besides, there's no way it'll happen twice in the same day anyway, right? Okay, so that was another lost key, but I quickly fill up another group and go right back in, and I'm more proud to say that we defeat the first boss in the dungeon with only 11 deaths to our group. I'll skip the rest of the dungeon because you've seen this run a few times already on this series. So I'll cut to the boss that gave me especially a lot of trouble this time around. Liu Flameheart. The one thing that you really have to worry about as a tank in this fight is the Jade Serpent Kick. Not only because it deals massive damage, but because it puts a healing absorption debuff on you, which you and your healer need to get rid of as quickly as possible or you'll end up looking like me. We had a few wipes here, because even though I was using my defensives, sometimes I messed up on the timing. I forgot to press my healing buttons and ended up dying again and again to the same mechanic that could have otherwise been easily dealt with. Other than my mistakes and some players standing in stuff or not avoiding the area of effect abilities, this fight is doable if you space out your defensive and remember your healing abilities. The last room is cleared as usual, with me pulling the 2 packs to the sides and dealing with the shock group by blasting them with copious amounts of AoE. Shoutouts to the rogue carrying in damage though. And to finally end this harrowing experience, the Shadow of Doubt is easily dealt with. Okay. One more pull. I'll let this battle play out as I close the video. This day was not my day. I was off on my pulls, I was messing up a lot, not using my cooldowns effectively, forgetting I have abilities used to heal myself like Frenzy Regeneration. I have Innervate to help my healer conserve mana on hard pulls. My Incarnate was off cooldown through this entire fight until the last pack of Shades. And there was a lot I could have done to make things easier for me and everyone else that I played with. Regardless, there's nothing to do now except learn from my mistakes and get better. With 10.0.7 on the horizon, there are catch-up gear quests and new currencies, and a ring that will empower your character significantly, and there's a bunch to do to get Dino Bear on tip-top shape. Sadly, with all the new content in and my limited playtime, I might need to take a week off of Mythic Plus to get my character all set up and ready to push beyond the key levels I'm running at the moment. So if you don't see a video next week, don't worry, I'm just sorting out things in and out of game, but I will see you soon.